Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Complete Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and we are really excited tonight. We're going to get a lot of laughs in. We've got a great comedian here. He's all the way from South America originally. This is Hector Rivas, all the way from Venezuela. He makes Vancouver, BC his home now, but we are thrilled to have you. Thanks so much for joining us, Hector. This is going to be great.
Hey, no, thanks so much for having me, Darren. I think, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I do have to say, now I'm remembering that you did talk to me about sending you a bio, and I didn't do that, so I just want to apologize about that. But yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a journey.
Yeah, it will be a journey. I got a chance to see Hector a couple of weeks ago at a really great comedy club called the Anza Club. They do a little comedy night there. I think there was 8 comedians that night, and we had fun. How many shows do you think you do on a weekly basis out and around the community?
On a weekly basis, I would say maybe between 3 and 5 shows a week.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
probably. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, this was a fun night, and we were really glad to get an opportunity to see your show and then get a chance to chat with you after. Say, let's get a podcast together. Let's do this, and we'll have a lot of fun. I love that you talk a lot about the differences between Venezuela and Canada, and I don't think a lot of Canadians know a lot about Venezuela. I don't think it's taught too much in the schools. We're not really familiar with it, so tell the viewers and listeners a lot of the very funny, interesting differences between Venezuela and Canada.
Yeah, well, hey, how can I put this on word? Well, Venezuela is like Canada, exactly like that. People are the same, polite and nice. It's just like, so yeah, Venezuela is like Canada, only that warm and fun. That's how I put it to people, like if you really want a fun and warm place, go to Venezuela, but people are the same. They're nice and polite. Um, yeah, what other things I have to say about Venezuela? Well, hey, like I said that night to you and your friend, I really like the beautiful British Columbia, and like I always tell people, like this is by far my favorite kind of Colombia, if you know what I'm saying, Darren.
Right.
So yeah, I no, hey, Venezuela, I mean, it's what differences I tell you, what I can tell. Well, hey, I do tell you this. I don't know why, but I feel like people in this country smokes a lot of weed. That's what I think. Like I don't know. They think like we Venezuelans, cocaine and all this on the news. But I do think like you guys are potheads. That's for sure. And I respect that for sure. Like there is, yeah.
That's good. That's good. I know you talked about being sort of surprised that we have 4 seasons here. I heard there's not 4 seasons in Venezuela necessarily.
Yeah, no, that is exactly right. You're right. Hey, like I tell people, like, hey, you live through all these changes. Like here, you have like summer, winter, rain, depression. But where I'm from, we only get 2 seasons. We get the summer season and we get the kidnapping season. And just so you know, we're still in the middle of the kidnapping season. And I always tell people, hey, because of climate change, it is very likely that if you go on Venezuela through, in the middle of the kidnapping season, it is very likely you stay there a little bit more because, climate change. So that's pretty much it.
Nice. That's great. That's hilarious. And I heard that you were surprised at the difference between the dogs that you see in Venezuela and the dogs you see around here in BC in the Lower Mainland.
Yeah. So, hey, like for me, it's just impressive here. I don't know how it's in Ontario, but like here in BC, like in the West Coast, like every single dog is next to an owner, and that's just fantastic to me. Like even the homeless dogs, they are next to the homeless, and they know they're kind of homeless that they are, like they know who's their homeless. Like back home, we all our dogs are out there in the wild, and and people think this is bad because Darren, I have to tell you, like I hang out with this lady, like me on my Tinder life, and this lady, dog advocate, and she's like, I can't believe that you guys treat your dogs so bad, and I'm like, look at your fucking dogs. I mean, all your dogs are slaves, essentially here. Like you put leashes on them, and you make them wear sweaters for some weird reason, and also like here they sell antidepressant for dogs, which is surprising. That is a surprise to me. I mean, I didn't know that there were dogs depressed. How do you go at therapy with a dog, and you come out with that, that outcome, like, hey, you need to take Oxycontin, like, for your dog. Like, that is weird.
Very weird, very weird. Yeah. I'm amazed that there is antidepressant drugs for dogs. Yeah, that shocks me. I don't know how you know your dog's depressed and how they get the diagnosis, but but yeah,
Exactly.
another way for big pharma to sell a lot more drugs, I guess. So you said that it's kind of difficult at times to get emergency response in Venezuela.
Hey, I just love how you drive this podcast, that you did all your homework, you took all your notes. It doesn't look like you're setting me up for a joke. I like that, Darren. I appreciate that. Hey, no, I'm so sorry. What was the subject?
The emergency services. When you want to
Right.
call emergency services, something's wrong. Who do you call?
Right. Well, hey, here you get to call 911, right? And
Yeah,
like here it's easy, right? And it's like a movie, right? Like you call 911 and they send, 3 fire trucks, the cops, the ambulances back home. Well, first of all, I have to tell you, here the emergency phone number is 911, but our emergency phone number is 058 424 576 asterisk 5824. So I don't think the government want us to call when we are dying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is weird. And also, like, there is an asterisk in the middle of the phone number. Like, do you know how hard it is to press the asterisk on your phone? Have you ever thought about that? You need, like, if someone cuts your hand off, you're screwed, because you need your 2 hands to just get the asterisk, right?
Right.
Well, that, and also on the other hand, like again, like they saying here, all these entities back home, when you call 911, they send you to jail, because that's communism. So I always tell people, like, hey, these are 2 guys in a Venezuelan jail. Like, hey, why are you here? Well, my house is on fire. What about you? Well, I got diabetes and we're here in jail right now.
Oh no. Oh great.
uh,
That's not good. That's not good.
Well, the best part of this joke is that it is true. So what can you do? Okay, hey, not to bring the conversation to a dark place, although you really turned off the light there.
I turned off the light for a second there. Yeah.
I forgot what I wanted to talk about. No, sorry, I forgot my train of thoughts. Yes, keep going, Darren. You're doing great.
All right. Let's keep on the Venezuelan differences to Canada theme. I heard there's a lot of differences in the birds.
Right. Well, hey, yes. So, I have the pleasure to be here 9 years, but I still can tell I'm in a different country every morning when I wake up. Like, when you wake up, Venezuela is close to the equator, so like you will hear, like, we're close to the Amazon, so you will hear these beautiful birds, like, like Twitter, like awesome stuff.
Nice.
But
I didn't like to wake up to that every day, but yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Twitter. Yeah.
Here? What's the differences here?
Here, hey, when you wake up, at least in the Lower Mainland in Vancouver, the first thing you hear is like, and it's like, oh my gosh, what is going on out there? What the fuck is happening outside? And like the seagulls, I have no idea what these Vancouverers are feeding, like these seagulls, that they are like huge. They are like dinosaurs here. I've never seen seagulls. Either your seagulls are fat, or our seagulls really are starving. One of those. But yeah, no, that's that with the bears. With the birds. I wanted to touch bases about Oh, hey, I really need to touch bases about like when I first came here, like it was so hard, like just to make new friends and make new connections. And at the very beginning, I remember I used to hang out with this woman, and this woman, it's a Canadian girl, like she would take me every Sunday, she would take me to Chuck E. Cheese all the time. And I thought like truly, I thought like, oh, this is what these people do in this country. They are polite, they are nice
Yeah.
towards, outsiders, and they take them to Chuck E. Cheese. But
Okay.
then, but like 2 weeks in, like she's like, 2 weeks in, a friend of mine was like, Hector, she's taking you to Chuck E. Cheese because she thinks you are special needs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman think I am slow. So yeah, so that's pretty much part of my story. So
Oh,
yeah,
great. Oh, great. That's not really what you want to hear.
exactly, right? Like, yes. Well, if I tell you about like, dude, like if I tell you about like my sexual life, like I call it ESL sex, Darren. Like English
Okay.
in like that is weird. When someone is telling you to do something, like Hector, do the doggy style, and you just bark, woof, 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 and it's like, oh my gosh, I am lost in
Oops.
translation. What is going on? Um,
Do you still use Tinder?
hey, I'm Venezuelan. I still use it, right? But I tell you, millennials, they use different apps like Hinge, they use Bumble, they use, the men's washroom for some reason. But no, hey, no, I do use Tinder. I still have a lot of faith in Tinder. Um, so weird. Sometimes when you're on Tinder, I don't know if that happens to you. Like, have you used Tinder?
Did I use Tinder? I no, I don't believe so. I was
Oh,
on
I
one of
put you on
those
the
sites,
spot there.
but I don't think Tinder. No, I don't think Tinder.
Okay, okay, great. Because there is this feature where you could go worldwide. And I'm like, oh no
Worldwide.
way.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
like I'm make like, and it's so weird because it's like, hey, how is your day? And you're speaking with someone in Kenya, and you are like, hey, my day is great. How's your day? Hey, I'm great. And that's the conversation. It's like, wow, someone in Kenya is like someone in Vancouver, you know?
Wow.
Uh
That's interesting. Holy cow. Um, okay. We have an area here in the city that I try to tell all the tourists to avoid. I always think that they're gonna come in on the cruise ships and they're gonna walk out to a road and they're gonna look and they're gonna be, okay, should we go left or should we go right? And they're kind of looking at each other. Oh, let's go left. And all of a sudden they are in East Hastings.
right.
But I heard you're somebody that actually likes East Hastings area.
Hey, I have to say, East Hastings is underrated because for me, like, like a lot of people are like, hey, let's just don't go up there. This is gonna be like, like this is gonna be really bad. And I'm like, I love East Hastings. East Hastings reminds me of South America, specifically of Venezuela. If you want me to get into detail, that's like Caracas, the capital. And yeah, it's like, like I'm going there and it's exactly like my city. I'm seeing people selling, selling a like I tell people this is like, it's like I feel like East Hastings to a homeless person, I feel it's like Costco to us, like you can get anything you want. You
Anything
can
there,
get
right? Yeah.
quinoa, you can get
Open
crack,
market. Yeah,
heroin, everything you're
yeah,
looking for.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, no. So hey, no, I really love East Hastings. I think East Hastings is great, and yeah, it's like home. It feels like home. Like the other day, I bought a washing machine on East Hastings. Like I I could go online and get it on Amazon, but suddenly, you see a homeless person carrying a washing machine, and you are like, oh my gosh, I got $20 here. I can get this washing machine right now. Um, so yeah, it doesn't work,
Wow.
but I bought it.
Wow.
Um,
There's quite a bit of difference in appliances I hear from Venezuela to Canada. You mentioned a dishwasher on the guy's back. Tell us about the differences between the appliances there and here.
yeah, no, absolutely. Hey, hey, is it like the way I see it is like I feel that here people don't do the dishes. They, they just buy this dishwasher. And like I always tell people, I personally don't like the dishwasher because obviously, it took my job, right? But no, we don't have dishwashers in like Venezuela. Literally, we just have the sinks and we just have kids. That's what we got,
That's
And
good.
and your goal. That's why I tell people like, hey, this is why our families are so big because you need to have 7 kids. You need a dishwasher every single day of the week. Those
Oh,
those dishes needs to be clean.
I see. Yeah, that's a good one. That's nice. I love it. Yeah, you said electric kettle. You said some of the other appliances, an electric blender. You just said that just blew your mind when you saw that we have that here.
Yeah, like well, for example, like I told you about the dishwasher and the kids, here in Vancouver, people are so into gym. It's like super progressive. People and they love blenders. And they get like, I have a friend, he always has a blender in his backpack for some reason. We don't have any blenders. We don't use blenders in Venezuela. When we want things to blend our food, we just have more kids. It's as simple as that. But I tell people, hey, but you can have any kind of kids you want. You can have like big kids, medium kids, small kids. You can bring in the backpack like my friend does with the blender. And and the last thing is like here when people are depressed, when people are down, you go to the doctor. You take antidepressant pills. Like back home, we just dance reggaeton, specifically Despacito, that puts you, in a great mood. But that also leads to having more kids. So you see, the problem are the amounts of kids we're having.
More and more. That's awesome. Did you do comedy in Venezuela, or is it something that you started here in Canada?
Yeah, no, hey, good question. I did comedy in Venezuela. I did it for 3 years. And yeah, I was kind of like getting good there, but yeah, no, I just came after that, yeah.
Yeah. Where and when was your first comedy here?
Here, oof, I
Do
don't
you remember
know.
your first show?
Yes, no, I do remember that one. Hey, it was this is how it goes. I took ayahuasca in Venezuela and then I traveled here and then like 2 days later I did my first open mic and I felt like I was stealing ayahuasca, but I did it. It was on the old, I don't know if you are from Vancouver, I'm sure you've known about Goldie's Pizza. Have you tried those pizza, Goldie's?
Yes, I have. Yes.
Yes, okay, great. Best pizzas in this city. Anyway, so the old Goldies was on Seymour. It had a basement and they used to they run comedy there for like 7 years. And yeah, I just went there
Nice.
when I was like 24 years old and I did my first open mic.
And how did it feel?
My first open mic was great. Like I crushed in a place that was full of comedians, like typical. So here's the thing, like ignorance is a blast because when I did it, there is all this culture where you go to an open mic and it's a dark room, 3 a.m. There is just comedians in there and one drunk person. And I did it in that same place, but I didn't know that this is how people feel about comedy here, like at 1 a.m. on Wednesday. But like I went like, oh, this is awesome. There is a show at 1 a.m. in downtown Vancouver and I killed and I crushed. And then I did the second one and I realized about the reality. But yeah, no, great. No, that was fun.
Do you remember any particularly bad night that you had?
Oh man, yes. I've been doing comedy for 10 years. So now the way I see it is like I have a year and then, okay, what is going to be my best show of the year and what is my worst one? The worst one so far, I do have some bad ones. Well, the one I can remember is last year. We did this show in Granville at an Irish pub, and it was a place called Donnellan's. Anyways, so we're in this Irish pub, and I was doing everything. I was hosting, I had my camera, I was filming comedians, I was running the set list, and well, the audio wasn't working, like the cable that was connected to the mix board was too short, so people were literally just yelling at a mic like this.
Oh, great.
And they were very disappointed. And the worst part is when you bomb in front of people. Like that night came like comedians with specials on Netflix, right? And then they came that night like for some reason, just really special people, and I just bombed and I was the host, so I bombed for the whole show. The headliner did great, but yeah, I remember that one. That was really bad.
Oh wow, that's tough. Those nights have to be tough, but I guess it's a learning experience, right? I guess every comedian's probably gone through it. Do you have comedians that you have had as heroes that you looked up to? You thought when you first saw them, hey, that's what I want to do now.
Oof, yes. Yeah. Well, when I was back home and YouTube wasn't like YouTube now, I used to check out a lot Dane Cook in his good days. Remember like the good days of Dane Cook?
Yeah. Some perform here in Vancouver. Just an unexpected show at Yuck Yucks one night. We were going down to see an open mic and just local comedians, and he asked the host to if he could come up and do some of his own material that he was working on, and they said sure, and boom, got to see him here. It was great.
That's awesome. Like that, I'm actually really happy that you got to see him because I really want to catch it. Right now, he has a special out, and I think he's gonna tour, and I'm planning. But yeah, no, and he's not the best comedian, but for me, when I saw him, it's like, oh my god, this guy's like moving on the stage, and he's like really similar to me, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that.
Nice, nice. Have you ever been mistaken for a famous person?
No, I've been mistaken. Um, I've been mistaken from a janitor, but no, never. Oh yes, The Night Stalker. I've been mistaken by The Night Stalker. If you guys know what that is, check it out on Netflix. No, I haven't been mistaken. So far, no.
The Night Stalker. His name is Ramirez. What's his first name?
Richard Ramirez.
Richard Ramirez.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Is he Venezuelan?
Hey, I think he's Venezuelan. No, he's Mexican. But I have my doubts because this guy, if you don't know who the Night Stalker is like a serial killer who will kill his victims, and after killing them, he would go to their kitchen to steal their food. So that's what I doubt, that he was Mexican, right? It's like, wow, this guy's stealing food. This must be Venezuelan. We need to do some DNA test there.
Great.
Yeah.
You do not want to be mistaken for a serial killer, I don't think so.
No, but I did have to tell you, when that documentary went viral, and I went on a couple of days on Hinge, and those ladies were scared. They were like, oh my gosh, like at the beginning, I thought you were Richard Ramirez, but I thought it was a catfish, like someone is, uploading pictures of Richard Ramirez.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
They think there's that much of a resemblance.
Hey, I don't know whether women are mean or people are mean, or whether this is funny. The way I see it is like, okay, let's look at it. This is fun. I'm going to keep moving forward because I just get into my feelings. And then, it's like a 1 hour of therapy. Well, people are confusing me with Richard Ramirez. But, yeah.
Let's go back to the dating life. I understand that you were dating a girl, and then you decided to visit the pharmacy after.
Yes.
Can you tell us about that pharmacy experience that you had?
Well, hey, when you come to a different country, you are like a baby in a 33 years old man. You're like a 5 years old asking. So hey, I'm with this lady, awesome woman. Like a really, really well-grown woman from Prince George, and yeah, no, and really typical woman from Prince George. Like I always tell people, like, hey, she has like blonde hair, blue eyes, nice. Crystal meth, white supremacist. Like she was like kind of person. But no, what I tell people is like, so after being with her, one day we had an accident, normal accident, 23 years old guys. Anyways, I'm going to these shoppers to because like, when we have an accident, like unlike Venezuelans, unlike Richard Ramirez, I want to take responsibility for the food I'm eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm always like, hey, you know what? I work hard. I'm gonna buy plan B. You know, we're gonna get out of this together. Of course, Darren, I did my job. Like I asked her, I really want to have a baby. I really want to stay in this country. But she was like, no, I want my future. Yeah.
Not happening.
Exactly. That's exactly how she said it. So I was like, okay, no worries. So I'm going to these shoppers, and and I mean, I worked out that I need to go to the pharmacy counter because she told me. Then I'm going to the pharmacy counter, and I see that there is a guy. It was like his first day. I can tell English is not his first language, and I'm Hector. Like, we're lost in translation. There is like
great.
people around. It's like 11 a.m. on Monday. Like so.
All right. I can picture it now. I can picture
yeah.
it.
Yeah. So anyway, so I'm there. The guy's doing his best to help out. He's like, sir, could you describe what kind of pill are you looking for? And I tell the guy, hey man, like, it's the pill you take when you sleep with someone you don't trust.
Okay.
So I work it out like that. Some
All
people
right.
kind of laugh, yeah, but it was like, oh, this is perfect. The guy's like,
Kind of makes sense. That's pretty good. That's probably something that you might say. Yeah, that's a good way of sugarcoating it a little bit. And yeah, okay.
Exactly. So the guy comes back with penicillin, and I'm like, dude, like, I don't need penicillin. Like, I don't think this is gonna be, strong enough to kill a baby. I am trying to kill a baby. And then it's like, oh my gosh, like people are like, oh my God, someone is killing a baby. So I took off and I went to a different shoppers and I got my plan B and I saved her future.
Good. Good for you. All right. Well, you go to shoppers very often. When you have to do something like, shaving, hair removal, you have to get your products. I guess shoppers is a place that you go to locally here.
Hey, yes, no, thanks. Thanks for pointing that out. Hey, what I tell people is like, hey, I have this problem where when I'm seen by people, like, I really want to look good,
Sure.
So right,
put on your best face. Yeah, look very presentable. That's the best way to be, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So so if I'm going to shoppers, like I tell people like, hey, I grew up in a household full of women. Like, I don't shave my body. Like, I used to shave my body. We're talking about shaving, by the way, people. And so like, we guys, we shave our body. And it's so bad. Like, you shouldn't be putting like knives, on your body. Like, and then, so what I'm doing, like, I started using hair removal because my mom and my sister, they were like, Hector, you're not gonna be a chimp. Use this. Don't use your shaving. You're gonna find this on the shaving needs alley. The shaving is aisle. On shoppers. And I'm like, great. They even have like an aisle just for shaving. And I didn't know it was a whole universe.
Yeah.
Anyways, by the way, Darren,
is that product called Nair or something like that?
Exactly that.
Yeah,
Nair,
right.
You got the competitor Vid, but Nair is amazing.
Okay.
So what I do, again, to going back, like, I wanna look good. When I go to shoppers, I just don't buy Nair by itself. In the same way, if I'm gonna buy condoms, I'm not gonna get condoms by itself. I'm getting Nair, and I always get like tampons. That way, then they know, oh man, this guy is awesome. Like, his girlfriend must be, sick, and he's just helping out, right?
I love it.
Right. So that's how I do it.
Looking like you're the great boyfriend buying all the products for your woman. That's great. That's smart.
Exactly. Hey, also, like, to put our people, I'm already walking this, disability out there. I mean, liability out there. Like, oh, this guy is Mexican, but then you see like a Mexican guy buying Nair and tampons. It's like, wow, I don't know where he's from, but this guy has more manners, than other people. That's
right.
That's how I see it.
Yeah.
So yeah, to go to my point, yes. So I'm going to shoppers, and when I go to shoppers, I'm buying Nair. I get Nair with tampons. Sometimes, like, I'm a comedian, I sometimes want to fool around. So sometimes, if I'm gonna buy Nair, I sometimes go to the Canadian tires, and then like, you can buy weird stuff there. Like, I buy Nair tampons and a shovel. I just show up there, at the cashier, and the guy's like, oh my gosh, like, what the fuck is going on? Why do you need a shovel and also,
These products?
yeah, and tampons? So yeah, so that's what I do. I
Nice.
unfortunately I've bought, so you have no idea, Darren, about how many boxes of tampons I have stock in my place. Like it is, I have my desk, a bed, and a castle made of tampons. Next to like 4 shovels, like it is it tells a story if you go to the room.
It
Yes.
must make it hard when you're inviting that Tinder date over for a first time, and she comes into your apartment and sees a whole castle made of tampons.
Hey, when they are actually excited, because what I did was like, hey, just take some tampons for the road. You never know, right? I mean, take some tampons for the road, free for tampons. I don't know.
We've had a phenomenal long summer. It's kind of just went in through September into October. We're supposed to get some rain starting tomorrow, and it's going to rain for a while now. But a lot of people have taken advantage of this good weather and went camping. Did you go camping in the through the summer and into this late nice fall weather we've been having?
Hey, camp. No, I didn't go camping. I have to tell you, I'm gonna break this down to you, Darren. I always tell people like, hey, I don't like camping because I'm not a dog. And uh and also like, I don't know, like I feel like the camping culture here, like it's people here, they bring like, the tents and the little fire and propane tanks, to camping. But like I always tell people, like people who do camping, like, hey, you are going to love Venezuela. Seriously. Venezuela is like a big campsite. And and it has everything you love about camping, like no running water, no electricity, and communism, which makes it a great place to just disappear for a while.
Oh,
So
great. The camper's dream place, Venezuela. That should
exactly.
be the new slogan. Come to Venezuela. It's like camping in Canada.
Hey, yeah, that should be the slogan of Maduro. Like, hey, come to Venezuela. It's like camping in Canada. That's great. In the summer. Yeah, in brackets. Yeah.
Okay, so I know some single guys that are on Tinder and doing a lot of those dates and stuff, and they also tell me a lot about OnlyFans.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Uh, what do you think about OnlyFans? You have an account?
On OnlyFans. Oh my gosh, no, I really need to create an account to see if someone can.
Have you seen
Yeah, it
people?
transfer me.
Have you seen people around locally? I've seen a lot of guys tell me OnlyFans, OnlyFans. Have you seen people, perusing OnlyFans in your circle?
Hey, yes, well, I do have to tell you, I do have a story with OnlyFans. Like once I was trying to open an account from OnlyFans, right? And I'm in the Vancouver Public Library, and I'm creating my account, and then I noticed that there was a homeless person, with all his homeless stuff, and I noticed that he was using a public, one of those computers in the public library,
Okay.
and the website he was on was OnlyFans, and we're on the same website. I'm using a laptop, he's using the public library's computer,
Wow. Okay.
right?
That's amazing.
So the weird thing was like, for me, it was like, wow, this is really weird because like he was really into fit, but he was on barefoot. Like it's like, oh my gosh, like this is so weird. So I show up to the guy, was like, hey man, like I noticed you're on OnlyFans, but you're on homeless. Like, hey, what can I do to make your life better here? And he's like, it's like, do you have any cash? And I'm like, why are you gonna use the cash for? And he's like, I'm just gonna go a Big Mac, across the road. And then I'm like, okay, great. So I'm giving so I'm about giving it the cash. I'm like, hey, how much do you need? And he's like, $9 a month, motherfucker. He wanted to pay his OnlyFans accounts. That's how he does it.
$9 a month. Yeah, I haven't found a lot of homeless guys asking for monthly bills, but yeah,
Only in Vancouver, right?
only
Like,
here.
yes,
Wow.
incredible.
Wow. Do you find the comedy here on a very high scale? Do you work with a lot of comedians? Do you see a lot locally that really make you laugh? You can see, if they got a break somewhere, they could go places.
Yes, no, the Vancouver comedy scene, it's a really it's a great scene. I feel like at least like in this region in the West Coast, is really well developed in terms like, from this city you got names like Ivan Decker, or Dino Archie, Marito Lopez, and so you got all Yumi Nagashima came from this town too. So you got all these huge comedians, and it's because it's simple. Like most of these comedians, they move out of these, small towns in Canada. They just come to Vancouver, and it's great because the competition is hard. So if you really want to be funny, you really have to be funny. Well, you were on that show, on the Scranny show, which is just headliners, on that show, and I even feel like I was weaker, right? Because I was like the first comedian there. So no, I love the thing here. I do think many comedians here thinks that they need to go to LA or to New York, and yes, you need to go there. But when you go to these places, you realize that scene is very similar to this one here.
Okay.
So in terms of like, yes, it's a place full of comedians that are just telling jokes. The only difference is like you go to an open mic in LA and you see like there is a guy with all of them has a Netflix special, right? Or has like all these awesome credits because the industry is more developed.
Right.
But yeah, no, I do think like, yeah, no, this is a great scene, the Vancouver scene. Yeah.
I work in the movie industry currently, and we're called Hollywood North. And there's a lot of movies and TV shows and commercials and a lot of things being produced here all the time. And it has been that way for 25 years or more. Do you see the comedy scene even growing even larger here? Because we are that Hollywood North, maybe there are a lot of Americans up here that will discover local talent.
Hey, that is a great question, Darren. I don't know. What I do know is like the all the system in here, in terms of filming, like, yes, like this is a great city because sometimes, you find directors or writers and they are just, here just because Vancouver is nice. And yes, they happen to show up to one of your shows, and then you are like, oh, okay, they hunt all this. My apologies, Darren. What was the question? Because I forgot like my train of thought.
Well, do you see local talent agents that are looking to find the next comedian, put them into new shows, movies, that kind of thing? Do you see, because we are Hollywood North here, do you see that also being able to blend into the comedy world?
Oh, in Vancouver, I do see it. Yes, I do see that. It's not like the United States of America where I feel like it doesn't happen as often as there, but I do see that. I just see like an industry that is developing and that is working, and that at some point, like in good 20 years, is gonna be a good one.
Nice.
So yeah.
Have you toured across Canada yet, doing comedy?
I've done, I haven't toured completely, like officially. I'm planning to do that hopefully next year. But I've done some rooms in Ottawa. I've done rooms in, all Alberta. And yes, I've done a few shows in Toronto too.
Okay.
So I think, yes, but I haven't done it like, yes, that's a goal for next year. Like, hey, next year, I just realized last year that I could just get on a plane and then travel and do it.
Right.
And I didn't know that I could do that.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. What about the US? Have you performed in the US?
No, not yet. I because you need to be careful. You need some papers to, like, if they see you performing with like a tourist visa, or if you post something on Instagram, like it's a mess for the future. So no, I haven't done it in the States yet. But we'll go there soon.
Yeah. Seth Rogen's a local guy here, and he has had a meteoric rise in his career. He actually grew up just a few blocks from where I'm sitting right now in my studio. He's been able to have such a big career. I really suggest trying to get in touch with him. He is very open to talking to local guys here that need a break, need an opportunity. he probably will be able to point you in a good direction. I really recommend reaching out and trying to get a hold of him.
Okay, who's this friend, Darren? Oh my gosh.
Seth Rogen. Do you know?
Oh, Seth Rogen. Okay,
Yeah,
you were talking
you
about.
know.
Okay,
You
that
know
will
him.
make sense. Of course, yes, the great
Yeah.
Seth Rogen. Is he your friend? You're
No,
kidding.
I wouldn't consider him my friend, but he just lives a few blocks, or he just grew up a few blocks from where I currently live. I see him locally here all the time,
That's
making new
awesome.
movies. Him and his creative partner spend a lot of time working here. They use a lot of their years that they grew up here and make it into the movies. And it's he's a guy that really has helped a lot of local guys, try to break into the comedy world a lot more.
That's awesome. Yes, I mean Seth Rogen is the man. I feel like I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard his first movie he wrote it when he was 17 or 18 years old with his best friend. And yeah, man, Seth Rogen. By the way, huge shout out to Seth Rogen, and I just wanna let people know to get his book, please. It's called Yearbook. Please buy it.
Nice.
Hashtag follow Seth Rogen.
Have you read a lot of comedy books that that you recommend that you think people would love?
Yes, yeah, no, I love reading about comedy. Like I'm a nerd for sure. Not a lot of comedians like reading books, but yeah. So if I were to suggest a book, please buy Poking a Dead Frog.
Okay.
It is a book made by this writer called and I got it here, Mike Sachs. So the book is divided like in every single chapter is divided like in 3 parts. One is called Hardcore Advice. So you get people like Diablo Cody, who wrote Juno, and Seth Rogen is also in that book. Amy Schumer, and they are just giving writing advice. But every single line in that book, every single line of those advice, because it's one paragraph, so every single word is like well thought.
Okay.
So yeah, and it's super easy to read because it has interviews. It also explores if you are into writing, how to write jokes, and it tells like really cool story about how different people got casted on some movies.
Nice.
So yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, Poking a Dead Frog for sure.
Okay. Um, Finish this line. I am a comedian because
I am a comedian because so many titles. Okay, so hey, I'm not a comedian because I love making people laugh. Making people laugh because I don't like taking things too serious.
nice.
And I am a comedian because I'm pretty sure I have a problem. Like, like I put shows and it's like, oh my God, nobody shows up, but I still do it. It's like, oh my gosh, yes, I
Nice.
have a problem.
Do you think you're funnier in Spanish when you're in Venezuela? Do you think do you think you're funnier in Spanish or English? Where has that tipping point been?
Yeah, well, hey, I started doing doing a stand-up in Spanish here, actually, in Vancouver. There is a Spanish and there is a Spanish community, like a comedy community here in Toronto, and also it's like a huge market in the States. But
Nice.
no, I started doing it again last year after doing a stand-up in English for like 8 years, and it's amazing. Like in Spanish, I feel like it's like you have a scooter and you have an electric bike, and it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna drive a scooter today, English, like how everything works, but you have the electric bike, which a little bit of effort at the beginning, and it just flies up. So
Nice.
yeah, but I really like in Spanish. Like in Spanish, I feel like I'm funnier than in English because I feel like I have more freedom, and I'm not into like structured jokes. Like I can just talk, and for some reason, like people laugh, which is good. But yeah, no, I find like no, my first language, yeah, is funnier than the English one for sure.
I see. Yeah, I was wondering. I thought about that when I've seen a lot of other comedians that English is their second language, and just wondered. Yeah, it would be nice if I spoke that language and be able to see them actually do their stand up in their own native language. I heard you're part of a comedy group at times. What's the group called?
Yes. Well, right now I am part of it's a project I have with my business partner. It's called the Comedy Tent.
Okay.
And the Comedy Tent is we I hear this idea from a comedian here in, I don't know if you know her, but her name is Sharon Mahoney. If you don't know who Sharon Mahoney is, by far I have the feeling, and it sounds sexist, but I have the feeling that she's the funniest female comedian alive right now.
Really?
Like she's really funny. But anyway, so she got funny because
Can you say her name one more time?
oh yeah, Sharon
Sharon
Mahoney.
Sharon Mahoney. Okay.
Mahoney, thank you. Yeah, that's the translation. Thank
Okay.
you,
All
Lauren.
right.
So uh Shadow Mahoney one, at Shadow Mahoney one. So anyway, so hey, no, but Shadow Mahoney, she got really good because she did comedy in Australia. What she does in Australia that doesn't happen here in at least in Vancouver is she sets up like apparently that's famous in Australia. They have like these big spaces where you can set up tents, and in those tents there are shows. There is cabaret, there is stand-up comedy, there is people dancing, and there is also alongside along well in the semester of those shows, that's where the fringe happens. So it's like a huge thing where people from the fringe in Adelaide, they come after those theaters, after those shows, and they go into these tents. So meaning that if you have a tent, you could literally do like 8 shows a day, right? Because you are just
Wow.
waiting for people to get in, right?
Oh,
Do your
awesome. Amazing.
right, do your 30
Wow.
minutes. And she got really good. Of course, like how is she so funny? Of course, she was doing like 9 shows 5 days straight. So it's like
Oh
45
man.
shows a week, right?
Amazing. Wow. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
hard to do as a comedian, I'm sure. So incredible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for me as a comedian, it was like, wow, if I just go out every night, like I'm essentially doing 5 minutes, right? Waiting all this long to do 5 minutes. How can I optimize my time? And anyhow, yada yada yada. We bought the tent. We we already have like my business partner and I, we already have our ways to calling people to the tent. We give them we're sponsored by Valley Water, so we try to find sponsors like Red Truck or like a good beer. So and it's everything is like, hey, people come in. When they come in, we give them a beer, we gave them a snack from another sponsor, and they enjoy the show. And it's like a 40-minute show, and then
Wow.
they are gone.
Wow.
And yeah. Anyway, so this is sorry, you are driving, Darren. My apologies.
No, no, no. I was just that sounds amazing. I'm really interested in that. How often are you doing that now? And where? And where is it?
Yeah, yeah. No, we're doing this every Sunday from 12 p.m. around from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. in Kitsilano on Kids Beach. That's where we sorry, special effects. That's where we set up the tent there, and now we are accommodating the tent for the winter. So we are getting like heaters and chairs and
Wow,
stuff, and
that's
so yeah, so
great.
people can actually have a great time, right? That's very
Wow,
fun.
that sounds fantastic. Kitts Beach is just a few blocks this direction from me. Seth Rogen grew up over here. Kitts Beach just over here. So this is a comedy central. I think that's
Hey,
nice.
and I heard that Jim Carrey has an apartment on in Kitsilano, like on the English Bay area. Like I heard like he has an apartment. So every time I go there, I'm always like watching like where is this guy? He's gonna show up one day.
Yeah, that would be amazing, wouldn't it? Do you ever do improv comedy?
Yes, I did improv back home for before doing a stand-up. Like I did it for 4 years. That's how I got into a stand-up.
Okay.
But I did it in Spanish. I did try to do it. Like I took here a couple of workshops, but yeah, no, I wasn't never into it here.
Okay. There's a big one that happens on Granville Island every weekend, and I wondered if you had ever, yeah,
That's the improv league, no? The
they do
Canadian.
theater sports, I believe it's called.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't gone to that one. I heard like it's really good.
Yeah, a lot of people love it. I know some, big lots of my friends just yeah, they recommend it and they go as much as they can. And it's quite the different genre of comedy. You have to sort of follow, you have to be really alert and be following and catching the jokes because they come fast and furious.
It's the best comedy. Like you need to work in teams and it's super nice and you have to say yes. Yeah, it's awesome.
So you have a Netflix special, is that right?
Yeah, it's called The Night Stalker. Please check it out on Netflix. Yeah, 4 episodes. No, that's not right. No, I actually no, that's part of the joke that I tell when I tell The Night Stalker. But no, I don't have a
Okay.
special on Netflix.
Okay. Have you been on the CBC comedy specials? Have you been able to?
Yeah, the gems, right? I think that's called.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
No, I
Um,
haven't been there. No.
okay.
Hey,
I
what you get, you know?
I was told, yeah, I was told that you were, but no big deal.
No,
That's
that's the other guy. There are two Latinos. There is one, Marito Lopez. That's the one who's in jail.
oh, Marita Lopez. Okay, that's the guy. There is a local group here called Latin Vancouver. Have you heard of them?
Oh, yes, Latin cool, of course. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
And have you participated in some of their events?
Yes, that's why. And you remember I told you that I did a standard in Spanish again here, and that was the organization who made that happen. And it's actually really cool because like I didn't know like here there are few comedians who speak Spanish, meaning that you know like they hire a comedian like someone super famous, right? And they put a show in a theater here, and it feels like 5,000 people, and it could easily be filled out. So there is a need for Spanish comedians, right? Because it's like, oh my gosh, I just did a show for like too many people because there is nobody who could do it, right?
I see.
So it's a great opportunity. Yeah.
We have a lot of gyms here. Vancouver's pretty well known for people trying to keep in shape. You look like you're in good shape. Have you approached many of the gyms to see about membership and keep making sure that everywhere you go you have an ability to work out?
Yes. No, hey, I need to work out. If I don't work out for some reason, like I don't know, I just started smoking more weed for some reason. Like that's what I found out. I don't like working out. Like people think when they see me, oh, hey Hector, you're working out. But it's like, no, it's suffering. You are suffering for an hour, and I'm doing my suffering so I don't avoid being fat, when I turn like 50. But no, I do my daily doses of suffering. I actually did my suffering before coming in here. I was running on that thing. Oh, this is going to end so soon. That's why my brain was just yelling at me, the whole time, like stop, don't go. But yeah, no, I do like the gyms here. You know what I don't like about the gyms here? Like it's so weird because it only happens in Vancouver, where I think it also happens in Alberta, where I got into the Steve Nash, and the guy's like, hey, with the membership here, you can work out anywhere in Canada. And I'm like, no shit. Like I'm gonna do legs in Burnaby, my shoulders in downtown, and then I'm gonna go to Toronto, to do my fucking bats, right? Like that is weird. But that's how it works.
Wasn't a selling point from Steve Nash's Fitness World that you could work out body part all over Canada.
Exactly. It's like, oh my gosh, like why? Like this, the salesman point, you can work out anywhere. Like, yeah, dude, I'm gonna do my arms, in Surrey, and then I'm gonna go to Coquitlam and do my butt. Like, that's not gonna happen.
It must be nice to be a comedian and just be just having just so much money thrown at you all the time. Look at the size of the building that's behind you. Look at the size of the building that's behind me. I think I might get into comedy. It looks like you've got a 10,000 square foot place behind you. Tell me about
Wow.
what it's like to be so rich.
Well, hey, being so rich, oh, dude, this is like my job. Look, I'm in a cubicle. It's so sad. Look, my cubicle does. If I show you the cubicle of my, look at this. There is a guy there who has like, I don't know if you could see it's like a china closet, like there, right?
Oh.
Like mine is like an empty, like it's just great. It's like I don't, like I did
Wow.
my Q3 today. I did my presentation to important people. Like I just wanna, take
Living
off.
the high life. Living the high life. Wow.
Pretty much, yes. Yeah. So no. So what can I tell you about this call center? Well, there is as you can see, there is a lot going on here.
Yeah. Wow. Flurry of activity.
Oh my God. Yeah, where are the people? Working from home.
Where can people see you over the next coming weeks? Do you have something you can pull up and tell your schedule? I'm gonna post this pretty darn soon, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. And where can people see you locally if they'd like to catch some of your act?
Hey, yes, I was gonna share my screen, but no, this is too late. But hey, no, yes, I'm recording. Well, first of all, we have the Comedy 10 every Sunday.
Awesome.
If you really wanna catch out, just go on Instagram and follow the Comedy Tent. It's that simple. Now, I do have shows like every week, but the most, I think the important one is I'm recording my first comedy album at the Havana Theatre on December 1st. First day of December.
Wow.
It's only $15 if you're reading this podcast and giving you a code. Rivas, R for Romeo, I for India, V for Victory, A for Alpha, S for Sierra. Rivas, $5 off December 1st. And yeah, no, I'm very excited because yeah, it's the first comedy album. So yeah, it's like, yeah, let's see how that goes in the metaverse, you know?
Yeah. Wow. That's great. Good for you. You must be excited.
I am really worried, Darren. You have no idea about the amount of people I need to control to make this happen. And the worst part is like I'm paying for all this. So I've been thinking the whole time, why am I even doing this? But you know, like that's what people do, comedy. So
Havana Theatre, that's the one on Commercial Drive, is that correct?
that is exactly right. Yes, at the emblematic Havana Theatre. It's a beautiful theater, super small. I'm sure people are gonna have a lot of fun. And I have to say, Ed Hill. If you don't know who Ed Hill, this is super important. Ed Hill is opening for me. Ed Hill has a special on Amazon and Apple TV called Candy and Smiley. He's one of the best comedians out there, one of the fewest comedians in Canada who also tours in the States. So yeah, it's gonna be a good night. That's what I'm trying to sell to people here.
And how can people find you social media wise? What are the addresses?
Yes, follow me on at Hector is Nuts on Instagram. Hector is Nuts. I'm also as Hector is Nuts on Twitter. Find me on YouPorn as Hector Rivas. It's like put it easy there. I made it easy for people. No, but so Instagram, Twitter. Oh, I'm on TikTok as Hector is on TikTok.
Nice.
Is it? And yeah, Instagram, I'm gonna have a website in January because that's when I'm gonna sell the album. So I'm
Great.
not gonna say the website right now, but yeah.
Nice. Wow. Well, this was fun. This was really fun. Did you have anything prepared that we didn't get to?
Anything prepared? I never prepared that. That's the problem. Some people call it, hey, no, that's where comedy comes from, but it's like, hey, that it is a problem. No, I am good. I really have a lot of fun, Darren. Thank you so much for having me on. I have to say, this is the part where I said thank you. So thanks for having me on. I also like you're a great host.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, and I'm looking forward to follow your content. You are super awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a pleasure. I was really excited to get an opportunity to chat further with you. Love your comedy. Just can't wait to see the meteoric rise of you up through the comedy world. Can't wait to come down to Kits Beach and see you at Havana. Yeah, good luck in all you do, and thanks for making people laugh locally around here. I can't wait till you get to make people laugh across this country, across this continent. And yeah, thanks again. I can't wait to see you again very soon.
Hey, I'm gonna cry after we stop recording, after we record, because I have problems. But no, Darren, thank you so much for the kind words. Yes, please stay in touch. This is awesome. Thanks so much for having me. If you're not watching this podcast until the end, you are such a piece of shit. Seriously, I have to tell you that to you who are not checking this out.
Okay, stick around. I'm just going to say goodbye, and then I want to talk to you as soon as we finish recording. So thank you for tuning in, everybody. Really appreciate the support as always. Want to thank our partners and sponsors. We love all of you, and we appreciate the support. Tell your friends, tell your family, hit the like button, and we will see you again soon. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.